Hello guys, today we have another mailbag video. This time it's an RC car sent in from banggood.com, and in this case it's another four-wheel drive RC car like the one we had maybe a year or two ago. This one's a good bit bigger, so we might not be able to salvage the gearboxes and different pieces like we did in the other RC car. But we'll test it out, we'll take it apart, we'll see what's in it, and we'll hopefully get an idea of how it's put together. Maybe that'll give us some ideas that we can use in our own designs. So let's get started. The package came from China, I believe, so it got a little bit of a beating on the way, but it's not too bad. The box is a little dented, but inside the car itself is fine. So we have little instructions, and that's pretty much all that's in the box. Instructions are in English, which is a nice change. A lot of these models you get come with well, I presume that's Chinese only, although I can't read it, or is it Mandarin you call it, not sure. But there's English instructions on it anyway. Can you read point 8 there? Please don't disassemble or modify circuit board at will. So on the top we have our little car here. Cable tied down. First impressions, it looks pretty good. It's very flexible, so it should be able to rock crawl, which is what it's supposed to be doing. So should be able to bend up over quite high rocks, I'd imagine. The only way we know is when we get it tested out. You can see our little springs there. They look like dampers, but obviously there's no damper, it's just a spring. You can see a lot of movement back and forth, so I presume this type of RC car wouldn't be great at speed in a straight line, but that's probably very useful for its rock climbing capabilities. So at first glance you might think that there is drive shafts on coming from the middle of the vehicle out to the back here, but if you look here you can see that there's actually a motor in here. So clearly it has a motor on the front and on the back. The axles are solid, so there is no differential that I can see there. So this motor is clearly through a little gearbox driving a solid axle. On the rear, or on the front even, it's the same thing. We have a solid axle in there, although obviously there's a couple of hardy spicers for steering purposes, but we can see our motor there. So our four-wheel drive is coming from two separate motors, and it's kind of an electronic four-wheel drive. So that kind of four-wheel drive system with the two motors is something that we could use ourselves. We'd probably have, well, if you're doing a tractor, maybe you'd put 4 N20 motors in, one in each corner, but you'd need a fairly big tractor to be able to do that. So there's no transfer box, no gearbox or anything in there, so the middle of this must only be housing the electronics. We have our front here. I think it's a servo, but it feels very free, so it might just be a motor. In fact, it looks like that's a motor housing there. So if that's the case, then possibly we don't have proportional steering, but we'll test it out. Although it feels like quite a free kind of a mechanism, it feels pretty good. So if we open up the battery case here, we'll see what the battery looks like. It's 3.7 volt LiPo as far as I'm aware. It's quite a big battery box there. Yeah, so there must be 3.7 volt LiPo in the box there somewhere. That's quite a big battery box, so you could put quite a large battery into this if you wanted, which would mean you could extend your battery life considerably. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff falling out of this. Let's see. Okay, so here is our battery and a battery charger. There's a travel adapter in the box, but no USB power supply to power the charger, so I don't know why they gave you the travel adapter. Let's take a look at the controller here. The steering wheel comes separate. nothing fancy about the controller at all. It's you know, just hard plastic. Couple of switches. They feel alright, not too bad. You know, it's cheap, but you know what they expect. I think it's $30, so I think that's adequate. Obviously this is for if you're left-handed or right-handed, so I'd be right-handed. You can hear there's going to be no proportional control on this model, so this is going to be, that's pretty loose there too. Well, there might be proportional control on the power, but steering, you can hear the click there. It's obviously going to be full left, full right. I don't know what these two buttons would be for. Check the manual, I suppose. Okay, well, I've checked the manual and I can see no mention of, well, all it says is the same as it says here, auto demo. So we're just going to have to power it up and see what the buttons do ourselves. Brilliant, they came with batteries. That makes things a little bit easier for me. Okay, so let's crack it open. I think it's only 4 screws we need to take out. That was easy. So there we go, that's what's inside. One little PCB, single side. Looks fairly simple, but let's just take off the PCB just to make sure there's no other chips on the bottom. One thing I noticed is there's no voltage regulator. We have a couple of chips on the bottom. So I'll take a look and see what those chips do. Okay, well, I've no idea what that brand there is, and I'm assuming it's some sort of Asian brand or a Chinese brand or something, that, or maybe it's some sort of custom chip, because I can't find anything for those numbers. But it appears to be, this one is the motor driver for the 2 motors. The smaller chip on the underside is for the steering motor driver for the steering motor, and the other chip there must be the RF transmitter, microcontroller, whatever it is. So doesn't seem to be too complicated. I can't see any regulators. It looks like the battery is connected straight to the chips, and I would assume then that they're probably going to be around about 5 volt limited, especially the radio chip. But we'll give it the 8 volts anyway and see what happens. Okay, so the battery's in the car, so let's figure out which way we need to turn these on in order to get control, or does it actually matter what way we do it? So, controller on, car on. So we have control that way. What if we turn the car on first, and then the controller? We still have control, so that's good. There's no sequence in which you need to turn them on. Sometimes you have a little bit of trouble with that. This is 2.4 gig according to this. It's pretty good. That might mean that if we open it up, the electronics are a little bit fancier. So it looks like we have speed control. Yep, we definitely do have speed control. So that's not so bad. We have speed control, that should make things easier. You can hear that motor just going full power there when we turn the steering. Must be some sort of a slip clutch in that. That's a little crusty for modern day, in my opinion. When servos are so cheap, why you wouldn't just use a servo now, I don't know. Okay, well, that's kind of the introduction to the car. My plan is to do 2 videos where it is out on you know, gravel and rocks and stuff, and let's see what I can actually kind of climb rocks. I mean, it's supposed to be a rock crawler, so there's not much point just driving it up and down a bit of tarmac. From what I can see, it's not hugely fast, but you kind of expect that. I mean, it's supposed to crawl rocks. It's not supposed to, you know, break any land speed records or anything. Mostly it seems alright. I'm not hugely impressed with the steering. I think that could have been done better. Also, this wheel here, it's not great, but I mean, for $30, what do you expect really? It's not bad at all. Well, we'll see how its rock climbing capabilities are, but at the minute it looks fairly decent. Like $30 is not a huge amount of money. It seems to have plenty of power for what it was intended to do, because if you drive it up to a wall and then you start to ease on the power, it is able to climb up the wall. So if it can climb the 90 degrees angle of a wall, it shouldn't have much trouble climbing over a few rocks. So we'll need to test it out obviously, but I think it's going to perform pretty well. So make sure and check out the next video where I bring it to some rocks and see how it actually performs. And then I'm thinking I might do a video where we try to up the voltage and see can we get it to go faster. I think I might have done that with the last 4-wheel drive car we had, but I'm not quite sure. But we'll give it a go and see. I haven't looked at the electronics yet, so maybe it'll just fry the electronics, but there's only one way to find out. So keep an eye out for those videos, they'll be up in the next few days. And if you want to get one yourself, head over to banggood.com. It's 1/18 scale JJRC Rock Crawler or Rock Buggy, something like that. You should be able to find it fairly easily. So I hope that gave you an idea of what you get, and in the next videos we'll see what it can actually do. So thanks very much for watching.